I think the essence of what we're here for is to show the commitment of President Goodluck Jonathan as regards the healthcare delivery system in this country. This place, until 2011, was Federal Medical Center, just Federal Medical Center. But the president, working with His Excellency the Governor, state, and felt that this state was one of the last states to be created, and there were many things that needed to be done. And one of them was to rapidly increase the turnover of new health workers that are being trained and turned over. The state already had a medical school, and they had a teaching hospital, but combining the two institutions to form a bigger hospital with more than 600 beds now also increases the capacity for training, or more importantly, also increases the capacity for delivering tertiary health services. So this is actually, if you like, the newest federal government-owned teaching hospital. So I heard a lot of people saying Federal Medical Center because it takes time for the memory to be erased. It takes time, especially if you have very strong hard drives. But what you have now is Federal Teaching Hospital with two campuses. This is the campus one, and the old EBONYI State University Hospital, which is on the other side of the city, is the second campus. So the Chief Medical Director also changed it. It used to be known as Medical Director, but now it's also been upgraded to Chief Medical Director. So it's now telling us some of the development going on to ensure that it meets up to the standards.
At this point, sirs, let me stand on a established protocol. I will basically want to thank His Excellency, the Executive Governor of EBONYI State, Chief Martin Elechi, and the Honorable Minister, our own, Professor Chukwu, for this wonderful gesture of merging the two hospitals to produce this mega hospital we call Federal Teaching Hospital. Since the merger, a lot has taken place. We have had all great support from Federal Ministry of Health by direct, by inference from the presidency, because when we took over, this project when we started, the project was almost at the lowest level. Then they made sure that what was appropriated for us during his tenure was quickly given. And you can see today, we're almost having 90% completion at this complex. This particular complex is 90% completed. You have two lift pathways there, the 12-seater and 8-seater lift that are functional. And we have 500 kVA and 350 kVA with 500 kVA transformers all ready for action. So we are most grateful, and we must also mention at this point, when is your target for completion? The target for completion of this complex is before June, if the appropriations are followed accordingly. By first and second quarter releases, we'll complete it. And again, we have to thank His Excellency for the 500 kVA generator he gave us. We have been enjoying it and has been able to power the whole hospital up till now. The Center for Excellency for Sickle Cell, and we are trying to dedicate half of this building for it. So we are very grateful, sir, because sickle cell has been looked down upon in our society, but it has made it possible for us to get these our brothers treated well. This is courts with the pharmacy and laboratory. The whole of this complex is for medical records and laboratory and pharmacy.
The Chief Medical Director mentioned Center of Excellence for Sickle Cell Disease. Now, all our teaching hospitals, all our tertiary health institutions, all of them have units for treating sickle cell disease. But because basically sickle cell disease is suffered more by the black race, and as you know, Nigeria holds the largest population in one country of the black race. We felt there was need to upscale what we are doing. And that was why in 2011, we started with 3 in 3 different geopolitical zones. And then last year, we added 3 more, making 6. And with a special one in Katsina. Why we did a special one in Katsina was that we found that the wife of the governor of Katsina has shown tremendous interest in schools. She has done a lot on her own, but needed to have support from the federal government. So we'd like to encourage every governor, every wife of the governor who is doing so well. The federal government has a policy of also encouraging them. So we are going to add more as the years roll on.
Thank you, sir. Perfectly. While the one next to it that is being roofed now is for the resident doctors, those who are doing the postgraduate training. It will be, when completed, the two will be about 18 flats, which will house at least 18 families. All the specialties except the subspecialty, the major clinical specialties, surgery, medicine, obstetrics, and gynae, pediatrics. And now we are getting for ophthalmology by February. We are trying to see if we can get the subspecialties. At this point in time, I also want to mention that with the help of Honorable Minister of Health, we've been able also to get well for School of Nursing, which is at Nsugbe. There is a big complex going on there, 2 giant hostels for the School of Nursing, which we hope by September this year will take off. Because our boy has never had any federal School of Nursing. This is the first time it's trying to happen. So to help us in manpower training. The buildings are at Nsugbe. If we can quickly have a look at it. Nsugbe Street. No, sorry, sir. Sorry. Nsugbe Street, not Nsugbe at Anambra. I'm sorry, sir, Your Excellency. Thank you for the correction. Yes. So, for now, this is what we have here. And we have about the 500 kVA generator up there already installed, and 350 kVA. 2 boreholes with overhead tank are part of this complex. If you look down, sirs, you will see the 500 kVA transformer already in place just to power these buildings. So, we'll go to Nsugbe Street.
Well, we're asking the question about equipment. What arrangement do you have? Because we have an endoscopic machine towards the Ibadan axis, and now we're talking about sickle cell. Yearly, there are new machines that help in medical services. What are you doing to make sure that we're keeping intact? Thank you.
Honorable Minister, Your Excellency, my question is on staffing, because I know that a complex as huge as this will also be demanding in terms of the manpower, given the fact that virtually every specialty, as the Honorable Minister asked, is represented in this place. How are you going to source to ensure that you have the kind of manpower that will deliver the services required and provided for in this huge edifice? This is unprecedented. Thank you.
Yeah, you know of Niprisan. Niprisan was a drug for sickle cell disease that was discovered in Nigeria. The patent is held by the federal government of Nigeria. Somewhere along the line in the past, we had problems with a company that we felt could do the industrial manufacturing, but that is over now. The National Institute of Pharmaceutical Research and Development, which is at the Federal Capital Territory, has now been aided by the Exim Bank, and they've teamed up public-private partnership with a company, and they are producing now. So we're also in discussion with the Nigerians in the diaspora, and some of them also are also working hard to even discover newer drugs. So we're working with them, but the coordinating body is the National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development. You got the chromatography machine. You already have it. Now that machine enables you to make prenatal. You don't need to wait for 6 months anymore to make a diagnosis of sickle cell. You can make it even before the child is born, or you can make it as soon as the child is born. That's what they have here. I don't think there's anything beyond that. So we are up to date. That's to reassure you. The CMD will answer part of the other question, but let me just say something. I would like him, when he's answering the last question, to tell us how many new fellows have they produced. And I've already approved that they should be given appointments as consultants, but he will tell us the number. And that's a boost to Ebonyi State. He will tell us. Then the other one is the other staff. I know they advertised recently and they are recruiting. So this new establishment was given to them by the Office of the Head of Service, and they're utilizing it. So it's going to be a continuous process. So, but you are right. Certainly, this kind of edifices spring up will require support. Let the CMD. Okay, the naproxen doesn't cure. Because when, in medicine, when we say you are cured, means once the drug has been removed, there will be no more problem. Now, what naproxen does is to reduce the likelihood of the cell becoming like, this sickle is something you use in the farm. And when they get sickle, it moves sluggishly in the blood cells, in the blood vessel. And it is that clogs up the blood vessel, denying parts of the body from having oxygen. The patient begins to scream of pain. Okay, this is the layman's way of understanding. So that drug tries to retain the normal shape of the blood cells so that they continue to flow without problem.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Sachs. As regards to the establishment, like my Honorable Minister has already mentioned, we have gotten the establishment already entrenched for employment of workers for this edifice in all the subspecialties and specialties. So we have already advertised even before Christmas. So this issue of manpower has already been taken. The total number we are expecting, by the end of the employment for this year's establishment will be about 3,300. So there will be enough manpower to handle this. And again, as regards to the training capacity, we have been able to produce this year alone about 5 specialist consultants, which we have forwarded to Honorable Ministers for approval to be upgraded as consultants. Already, sir, thank you very much. So, 2 in internal medicine, 1 in hematology, 1 in psychiatric, I think 1 in the plastic surgery. So, we are very grateful for that approval. Thank you, sir. The budget, they are in phases. The total cost for this so far is about 650 million for this, the big edifice you saw from the front to now to this place, while these other ones are 250,000. These other 250 million. Sorry, sir. no. 250 million. Why this one is about 49.5 million. This one, the big house officers quarter. Why this is 180 million. It just completed, not with furnishing. It's just the structural completion. Everything, ties, doors, everything except the furnitures and the equipment, which we are hoping that by the time the budget comes out this year, we've already budgeted, and I think we are covered. It's in our proposed budget for furnishing, sir.
What you're doing across the sector, especially teaching and specialist hospitals of this nature.
Well, the first thing is to say that we're upgrading our own federal-owned teaching hospitals. We're upgrading them. We're upgrading them, one, in terms of capacity to be able to handle more people because our population is growing. People are getting more enlightened. Like in the past, mother of a child will just look for any doctor to attend to the child. But this is even from beginning. The mother will say, I'm looking for a pediatrician. So enlightenment is on. Also, more importantly, looking at the quality of service. Quality of service. And we're looking at quality of service, one, in terms of the equipment and the skills. Now, talking about skills, we recognize that there have been advancements, some of them which have not been kept up with in Nigeria. And that was why in 2012, the federal government, already they are out, we sent out 60 resident doctors and young consultants. They're outside the country now, for additional skills in areas that we felt there were gaps in Nigeria. 60 of them are already there. And some of them will come back this year, a few of them will come back next year. The reason is that we're no longer doing the 1 year abroad, because that didn't make sense to me. 1 year abroad shouldn't be the right. It depends on the skill you are going to have. So some of the 60, out of these 60 we send, some of them are actually just going for 3 to 6 months, because the kind of additional skills they require will only take them 3 to 6 months. But there are those who are going to do 2 years. So it's not 1 year abroad, we'll call it the overseas component. And this year, more will also be sent out. Now, the other thing we are doing is also where it's going to be more cost effective. We're inviting people from outside. Right now, we're working on one, like in this hospital, in the hospital we're going to see next, they're already using cryosurgery. What we call, when we get there, we'll explain what cryosurgery is for the treatment of cervical cancer. But we want to extend the use of cryosurgery for keloids. There are a lot of, keloids is another black man's problem. There are a lot of people carrying keloids, you exercise, it recurs, but cryosurgery is quite effective. So what we are doing now, we're in the planning stage, we're going to bring people from outside, and then they will put them in a center in Abuja, they do the training there, we supply them the equipment, and they begin to work. Now, in terms of facilities, over the years we have been improving on the facilities. We are about to enter the third phase. The third phase of the upgrading, we started actually from the administration of President Obasanjo, but President Goodluck Jonathan said we should continue. Another President Goodluck Jonathan, 4 have been completed. The one in Kano has already been commissioned by the President, Aminu Kano Teaching Hospital. The one in Sokoto, Udud Usman Danfodio University Hospital, has also been commissioned by Mr. President. The ones that have been completed, they are in use. I'm sure you'll be taking around when you go to the South and Southwest, but not yet officially commissioned, but they're already in use for Nigerians and anybody that requires their services. It's at Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospital, Ile-Ife, and University of Benin Teaching Hospital, Benin. The 2 that will be ready this year, one is at Nnamdi Azikiwe University Teaching Hospital, and the other one is at Adassinewe, and the other one is at University of Calabar Teaching Hospital, Calabar. But the third phase we'll be going into, we include this hospital, the Federal Teaching Hospital, Abakaliki. We include the National Hospital, Abuja. We include the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Gwagwalada. We include the Abuaka Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital in Bauchi. We include the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital in Uyo. And we include the Irua Specialist Teaching Hospital, which is in Edo State. So that will complete all the 20 federal-owned teaching hospitals. We're also working on the federal medical centers, but they are not as massive as what we're doing for the teaching hospitals. Now, the other thing we're doing is quality in terms of the behavior of our people. We know it is not unique to health workers, I must say, because everybody is coming from the same family. You go to a bank, you go to offices, you have some attitudinal change. Of course, you know that Ebonyi State, one of the principal and cardinal policies that Governor Martin Lechi came with was attitudinal change. And therefore, we expect that in this attitudinal change among the federal teachers, it should start from those in Abakaliki. And what we are serious about it. If you look at discipline, I don't think we have had more discipline than what we have had under President Goodluck Jonathan. Of course, if complaints of negligence are made, we follow due process, we investigate. We want to be fair, firm, but we need to give justice. So unfortunately, in the last 1 year, we've lost quite a number of consultants from different hospitals after investigations. It's unfortunate, but we must begin to do the proper things. We've lost a number of nurses because they were found guilty of negligence. We have lost some resident doctors. And even in FETA, we lost some because of some attitude. We don't believe anybody should take money to give employment. Someone doesn't have work. He's living off people, borrowing money to survive, and you want to give a job and you demand money. If we catch you like we did here recently, we have to let you go. Yes. You don't deserve to be here. So I don't want to say so much because there will be other questions, because we'll still go to other people. But what we are saying is that a lot is happening in the health sector. Now, I remember that, Honorable Minister, when you went to the Jos University Hospital, and some of them were here, they were now screaming, Honorable Minister, we didn't know all this, we are here. I said, how would you not know? We've been saying it. But now seeing is believing. Now, when they write CT scan exam for you, it's like something you have to look around the whole of Nigeria and go outside the country. Now, it's becoming more and more commonplaces. At least 2/3 of federal teaching hospitals have CT scans. And more is still coming this year. All the teaching hospitals have CT scanners. Now, MRI. At least 2/3 of teaching hospitals have MRI. And many of the federal medical centers have MRI. We are upgrading. Then, if you look at cancer treatment, okay, I'll say part of what I'll say for the other center, but part of what we've done is in the big teaching hospitals that already have the manpower, because you need specialized manpower for cancer. We have brought the state-of-the-art equipment like the linear accelerator. These are very expensive equipment. If you go to Kano and Sokoto, for instance, you will be proud you're a Nigerian. I say that every day. You'll be just proud that you're a Nigerian. The kind of equipment, they are the latest. Now, the other thing we've been doing is to look at even our laboratories. We're doing a lot. And speaking about laboratories, I'm sure the media is aware that there are certain diseases that we keep having in Nigeria. One is Lassa. Already even some states are beginning to have 1 or 2 sporadic cases of Lassa fever this year. Today, 7 teams are leaving from Abuja to 7 states to make sure that it doesn't go beyond 2 or 3 cases. Now, what we have done, as at last year, we had only 2 laboratories that could make diagnosis of Lassa fever. By April this year, because they are just installing now, we are going to have 9. Already we have procured all the reagents and everything. They're just putting things and they're doing quality assurance and quality control. So we're going to move from 2 to 9. So it will be easy. Once you see fever, it's not necessarily malaria. You must investigate properly. So these are some of the things we are doing. But one major thing President Goodluck Jonathan wants to do is, look, government will do its best, but we also want the private sector a lot. When you hear that Nigerians are leaving Nigeria to go abroad, actually it's private hospitals they are going to. It's not necessarily government hospitals. And we're impressed with what we're doing. Even yesterday, the GE, because we have an MOU with the GE, to encourage private sector players to co-invest with them. They went to Lagos the day before for the Make-Cure group, which is a greenfield, which is new treatment center, but private. They are working hand in hand with them. They came to Abuja yesterday, the Reliance group, which is more diagnostic. Okay, and these are areas they are collaborating. Then, because we are now encouraging the private sector, more and more of them are springing up. 2 weeks ago, I was invited to one that is called Live Bridge in Abuja. There's no equipment you can see any other way in the world for diagnosis in healthcare that you will not find here. And we have agreed I will help them commission it. That is the trend now. And we're also doing PPP. If you go to a place like University College Hospital, Ibadan, we are doing a lot of PPP. We go to LUT, we're doing PPP. Go to UNTH, we're doing a lot of PPP. So what we are promising Nigerians is that gradually